Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're going to be playing a 3 versus 3 battle. I'm here as the Wood Elves on this big open plain. I have a Glade Lord, and I always like bringing these as the heroes. Able to snipe at people, and then also the ability to use that one spell that kind of freezes you with the net. Awesome for controlling enemy armies. Anyways, my deployment is such that I have 4 archer units, all Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. So 4 of those, 3 Eternal Guards with shields, 1 Dryad, or 1 Treekin, my hero, and then a Spell Singer with the Lore of Life. That's my main army, but I did have 4 units deployed in Vanguard, Wild Riders, and initially I had them all deployed around this area here, hoping that the enemy would have deployed and I could have just massacred them. Unfortunately for us, they deployed on the polar opposite side. Had they, just randomly chosen to go on that side, I would have been completely positioned to hit the rear of this with an ambush, knock out the artillery, and I think get out of there. In the meantime, what I've been forced to do is run all the way around here, which has given our opponents the brief moment to now shuffle around with their spearmen. And yeah, I could probably dart through these guys, but they just have so much firepower in here. Guns turning around, cannons potentially. I'm a little bit scared. We could look at what this force is. First, looks like it's an Empire, 2 Empire armies, and then 1 from Midland, which is cool to see that. They have a big mass of cheap swordsmen up through the front. Obviously, actually, looking at this, honestly, it's really weak Empire force. They're going more for numbers than anything, which isn't a bad idea if you're going against my units with a lot of bows, so they have more people to catch the arrows. And we'll see how this works. And then they do have some nice big tanky guns actually that are moving forward. The Sunmaker, they have a Volkmar the Grim with the battle altar here. And then the forces of Midland, let's look a little bit at these. Looking awesome. Spearmen, they don't really have any unique troops, it's just kind of unique skin. And then a generic great cannon. So this is a really cookie cutter force pushing forward, but it's a nice big defensive blob that they've formed up here with guns in the back, which I was kind of anticipating. That's one of the main counters you see against units that don't necessarily have skirmishing bodies like our forces of Chaos and others. Oh my god. Let's watch a little bit of this. But yeah, this is kind of what you can expect in multiplayer. If you bring dwarves or the Empire, usually they're going to sit back. So we're going to try and break that. On our side we have Chaos. He has brought a really huge force of basically just Marauders, which you don't see very often because Marauders are generally thought to be really cost ineffective. They shatter and break really quickly and just don't have the stats to do much. So he brought all Marauders, half of them with great weapons, half of them are regular, and at least 2 Kolic Sun Eater and a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, which is a pretty good idea. Over here I'm trying to kind of kite the enemy hero out of position, Boris Todbringer, with my Lord. He is trying to chase off my Wild Riders, which is a good move, but now I have the support of my wing of archers, and so what I wanted to do is just start picking apart with the Glade Lord here. Tons of ammo and the ability to snipe and do a real bit of damage. I had him positioned on the flank here to start taking out these Reiksguard. He was starting to do a fair amount of damage, but then the enemy hero pulled out. And what I'm going to try and do is actually cast a net here to trap the enemy. And what I wanted to do is pin him in place and start to fire at him and really keep him down. But what the enemy does, this Light Wizard also casts a net on me. So what we have here is a very interesting scenario where 2 heroes are caught in a net, one next to another. The advantage with my hero though is that he can still fire away, so the enemy is stuck and they don't really have the close support that they would need. And look at all this damage that I'm putting on Boris Todbringer. Pretty awesome. And now I'm going to bring in my supporting Wild Riders and other units to dissuade the enemy from moving up. And I've got my bows and others. So we're pushing up. Chaos is also sending 2 of their Dragon Ogres on the right side. They do get a couple volleys against my Lord, but that's why I brought the Spell Singer with the Lore of Life. I can heal this guy right up, so I'm not worried about that. The main crush in the center is going to be the Marauders, and already the pummeling artillery fire, and now a net cast on this main force. Yeah, Chaos is going to be getting absolutely thrashed, and look at what he's running into. Gun lines, cannon lines, and a whole bunch of swordsmen. That's not looking good. Meanwhile, the Beastmen are going all the way on the right side. They have some Minotaurs with great weapon, some Ungor herds, and just some cheap guys with a couple monsters, but he does not want to be facing an entire Empire and Midland force by itself, and this is not good. On the attack, you never really want to split up like this, and so we're playing kind of directly into the enemy's plan here. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, another, well, I guess it's the same net attack. Anyone who moves into the radius, as you guys have pointed out, will get hit, and then now they're going to get shredded by the artillery. Real briefly on the left, I'm firing away at the gunners, pushing them back and trying to curl around the flank. Meanwhile, we can take a look at what, oh god, this is not looking looking good. I mean, Marauders are just barely getting up to the front ranks, and they get charged on one flank by Reichsguard. That flank is shattered, and this one here is about to get attacked by a whole lot of pain. Let's watch some of this. So the cheapo troops are going to get in here, and it looks freaking awesome. But forces of Midland are going to get in on the action, and now it's going to start to really break. Yep, immediately. So the entire Chaos Army has pretty much routed. Karl Franz is gleefully coming after our 2 Hell Cannons, which are pretty expensive. And we do still have a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, but he's really not going to do much. So boom, Chaos is completely obliterated, having done nothing. I am fearful of the Beastmen suffering a similar fate, but we'll see what happens. They are thankfully targeting the Great Swords. On my flank, what am I doing? Well, I'm kind of circling about with my Wild Riders. I really want to get at the exposed rear ranks of the enemy, because I know if I can hit these cannons and hit these forces while they're engaged against Chaos and the Beastmen, then I will perhaps have a chance of standing victorious. In the meantime, my enemy's trying to cast some spells against me, and my Wild Riders, which are awesomely fast, are just going to dance out of position and avoid that. Meanwhile, I'm using my Spell Singer to just try and tank enemy Spearmen, have her heal herself up, and just be a nuisance, and really force these guys to come out and deal with my heroes, not do much damage, and then take arrow fire in the retreat. So I'm slowly trying to pick away, form a gap. Reinforcements are coming in, but what this does mean is they're going to start opening up their rear lines to a charge of my Wild Riders. The enemy knows that this is potentially going to happen, so they bring Knights of the Blazing Sun in here to try and ward back my Wild Riders. What I do is I charge in with my Spell Singer. Yeah, I know this isn't probably a very good idea, but what I'm scared of is them getting at my archers and other units, so I cast a net on these forces, and then I'm going to try and pull out of that position and get my Treek in. Lots of bowfire getting off. I dodge an attack here, and now actually Chaos is coming in with the Dragon Ogre Shagos, which is a really nice move. Finally, not setting up in the center is a really good godsend to our forces. And then I'm focusing fire with my bows against the hero units. So we're going to be able to carve through the front lines. Presumably if these gunners can't focus fire on this Dragon Ogre, but he's already at, like, 75% strength, so I really need to help that out. I'm immediately going to start to position my Wild Riders around the flank. I want to tear up these cavalry. They're the only thing holding me back from going around the flank. And so I'm going to pour through here. I'm also pivoting around with my multiple cavalry units. I want to come back to save the remaining Chaos forces in the center. Meanwhile, we can watch the crush in the center. Ungor herds and really cheap troops. Vestigors are still standing, but they are not going to last in a prolonged fight against spears and other heavy infantry like this. Thankfully, we have 2 Minotaurs that are thinking of getting in the fight right into the flank of the Halberdier, so perhaps this will allow us to finally break through this engagement, and that's really nice. Meanwhile here, take a look at my Wild Riders. They clean up a unit of handgunners immediately. These guys do so much damage to weak units. I have pulled my Glade Lord through the center, and now I'm going to be trying to take out the cannon crew. And I destroy one of them there. So that was pretty epic. Oh my god, that is a devastating blow right there. And now my Wild Rider is going to clean up. So I'm doing a lot of, oh my god. Holy shit. That Luminarch of his just did a punishing blow right to the face of my hero. So he's going to be coming out of there. I was not expecting that. I'm going to try and bring my Spell Singer to heal my Lord, but at this point he is routing and he is out of the count and he shatters immediately. So I did not count on that being a direct hit. So I'm a little bit scared, but my Wild Riders are going to be committed into the center here. Oh, it takes another shot and just barely whiffs this Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. He's going to carve his way through, but they are defending this Luminarch now. In this position, lots of spells getting off here. The Ember Wizard is trying to hold steady, but we have Morgar in the mix with the Minotaurs, which is kind of all you really need to break up this infantry force. The rest of the Beastmen fodder units have died, but this is where the real brutality of the beastmen comes through. These are very, very hard units to kill, and you really need gunners or more halberds to deal with this, and they just don't have enough. So the beastmen being pretty effective, actually breaking the spine of Middenland. Yes, their rear ranks have been shattered, so I don't think they'd win in the long run, but for the time being, they're at least not getting completely obliterated like chaos. Meanwhile, my Wild Riders were going around here, knocking enemy forces around. You can see them there rallying, breaking the Reichsguard, doing lots of damage, and then now I get a free hit against this cannon. So I'm getting all the weak targets that I needed. My Wild Riders are in the middle, and lots of abilities being cast by the enemy. My Spell Singer is seen off. Bombardment getting off, and so they're doing everything to try and pin me, but my Wild Riders continuing to run free. And take a look here. My Eternal Guard got straight into the mix. They're getting shot in the back by bows, and now charged in the rear by Wild Riders. Wild Riders have to be some of my favorite units, such versatile cav. Keep them mobile, and they can do so much punishing damage. My Treekin doing good work, and these archers really picking their battles. Focusing fire on the rear of the enemy ranks. I'm not going to waste any more shots on these spearmen. I know that they are toast. And then I'm going to focus fire on the heroes and force them away. This Dragon Ogre Shaggoth down to like, I don't know, 2% health is going to come back in here and help finishing up the fight. Let's watch this. One big blow, he's going to act like he was here the whole time, and he's going to see these forces off. So that's a nice saving grace to my forces, which are doing pretty good. Eternal Guard cleaning house. Over here, my Spell Singer does get in and amongst these spearmen. I was thinking I'd be able to take him out rather easily with my explosions. My health is pretty good, but then all of a sudden, it turns out I'm pretty tired, and I believe my force is going to start to rout. So that is not the engagement I was seeking. I think it's actually these gunners. Yeah, they're going to turn about, and just as I was winning this engagement, I think they're going to get... Oh no, it says they're obstructed. So no, my hero here was just, yeah, defeated. So that's kind of a bit of a morale blow. But the rest of my forces still in healthy numbers. Wild Riders doing work here. And look at the center where the Empire was. My Wild Riders striking in the back. Doing so much freaking work. You see them here posing with the remains of the guns. So Wild Riders definitely for the win in this one. Doing so much good work. The enemy is still alive. I mean, they have crossbows. They have other various units. Middenland is now swarming Morgul. And yeah, this is a lot of units. Wow, they killed off all of our beastmen forces here. The Chaos Spawn was absolutely thrashed. And so this is pretty devastating for us. Oh my god, that Luminarch of Hysh just freaked the fuck out on Kolek Sun Eater and actually is going to see him off. So that's going to save Volkmar the Grim here for a little bit of a second. What I'm going to do is charge back in with my Wild Riders, try and see him off. He is dangerously exposed, and I know he is kind of the keystone holding up the Empire's morale here. And if I can see him off, which it looks like my Wild Riders are going to attempt to do, then this will be perhaps... Oh, yep. There you go. That was the linchpin holding the enemy morale together. So Wild Riders here, the noble battle deer, coming in clutch this battle, gaining me victory. Yeah, I think that was solely due to them. On my side, I think I did a really good job picking the enemy apart, lending support with my Wild Riders, silencing the guns, and striking at the back. I mean, you saw Chaos, my ally, was a foregone conclusion. He was destroyed with almost nothing left. He did have two Dragon Ogres who were kind of still alive, but those guys were teetering on the edge of destruction. Beastmen did pretty good. They kind of neutralized and evened out against Middenland, so I think it was up to me to turn the tide. I'm not going to kind of top my own horn, but I think I did kind of pull this one out for our team, and it was really fun. That's what made it a Pyrrhic victory. I always very much enjoy these, and yeah, you can see where my bodies lay, by the guns, by the action, in the thick of it. So let's go ahead and end the replay. I do want to take a look at some of the final stats for my forces. I'm pretty sure they kicked ass. That battle was really, really fun. Let's see. Yep. Wild Riders always seeming to pay for themselves. 154. That's not a stat you see very frequently in Total War Warhammer. 142, 122, 69. Tons of kills. A lot on the archers as well. All almost at 100 here. 74, 70. Really good. Even the Eternal Guard's doing well. And my Glade Lord did fairly good. For zone of control, picking the enemy apart. I would have wished she'd stayed alive a little bit longer, not taking that Luminarch of Hysh direct bolt. But yeah, it is what it is. So I brought the least number of troops, and I wish we could see the kill count because I think I got, more than 2 armies worth. But yeah, that was pretty dope. I can't click on any of the other armies, unfortunately. That bug is still there, so all you can see is Blue Silk here. His mortar's getting a fair amount of kills. I think they were targeting, I think all of our enemies were targeting Chaos, and that's where most of those kills were had. But look at this main line, just really cheap troops with not much to be able to really do the finishing blow, besides perhaps those silver bullets. But Volkmar the Grim did pretty good. But this main line just didn't hold up. He could have benefited from perhaps a strong cavalry unit or maybe a couple more gunners or something to deal with the monsters. But that's it for this battle. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely check out my Facebook page where I do promote my documentaries and share history and military related content. So anyways, stay tuned for more. See you in the next one. Peace out.